Hi guys, I'm Torryn and welcome back to my channel. Today you're here to check out me setting up my new bullet journal for the year of 2020. Anyway, so I've got a new journal and I want to start fresh this year, doing a full year of bullet journaling. I've only been doing it like 6 months maybe. So we'll see how we go filming the full year ahead of bullet journals. I'm just starting with a title page for the words 2020. So I've sketched out what I want to do. I want to go for, what do I call it? Kind of like that mystical kind of vibe, seeing into the future, you know, the whole 2020 vision. We'll see if that comes across. Anyway, I like the patterns of like the all-seeing eye, so I thought I'd kind of design something that worked around that. So let's get into it and we'll see how it goes. I guess the design of this is kind of Aztec style. Just erasing all the sketch from underneath. Now I'm going to see how this paper handles the watercolour. I don't think it's liking it already. This paper is not handling the watercolour. That is shocking. I would have liked to have done more watercolour, but it's not handling it. Not at all. It's gone through. So that's a letdown. I thought because it was quite thick, it's 160 GSM, I thought it would be okay. What a shame. Okay, so I'll have to scrap the watercolour for the future. Hopefully it handles markers a little bit better. Anyway, I'll let that dry. I'll come back to the next page soon. Okay, so it hasn't bled through too bad once it's dry, but I don't think I'll be risking it again. So I'll just be using water-based markers, not alcohol markers because they bleed through as well. I did a little tester back here. So alcohol markers are no-no, water-based are fine. Pens are good, pencils, things like that. Okay, so moving on. This page here is going to be for the key to remind me of tasks and what symbol to use. Still keeping with this kind of magical design. Don't know what to call it yet. I'm sure there's a very obvious word and it's just not coming to me. Spiritual? Maybe? Yeah, that makes sense. Spiritual, you know, 2020 vision. Seeing the future. Oh, it's going so well. And then you had to go and do that. Now how will we fix you? We'll fix you by doing a random pattern, which actually just looks stupid. So then we'll continue. Not loving it. Thought I could fix it with a random pattern, but I couldn't, so I'll just colour it in instead. It looks nicer being bold anyway. Okay, all the way down here. Okay, so that spread's done now. So now I'm moving on to this one is just like a quote page that I am going to look back on and remember. I say it to myself. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Yeah, it's a nice one. Ah, I went out of the line. Damn. How I'll fix that? We'll see. Maybe a little bit of white pen will fix that later. We'll give it a try. Go. Okay, so that's my quote page done. I think I'll leave that page black and white. I quite like the look of it like that. I'm still trying to figure out what I could call this theme. I'm thinking maybe Wiccan or like Aztec Wiccan sort of styles. It's got a magical kind of vibe going on. Now this page is what I'm going to use to keep my house cleaning all on track throughout the year. I'm going to call it a cleaning calendar. So there's a place where I can write, check what I've done, which should help me so I don't forget things. And when I last did things, always a challenge. So this page here is where I've reminded myself of the things I do daily, weekly, bi-weekly. Got a little random sketch in the middle, and now I'm doing every month and then 6 monthly and annually, those kind of things. And these I keep in a little chart on the side so that I can check off when I know I've done them for that month. So these circles along here mean that I do these every month. So once a month I'll colour in a little box showing that I've done it for that month. Okay, so they're all the monthly jobs. Now we've got the tri-annually and then biannually are these guys down. And here we go. And then I can add more duties if I've forgotten any, and make a little key down here. Alright, next page. This one is for the expenses of the daily household for the year and savings. We want to try and save for a family holiday. It's going to take us all year to save, if not more, but we will do it. And it's good having it written down because you can make sure you're continuing with your saving. I know everything's digital these days and it's quite easy just to do a direct debit, but I don't know, there's something nice about recording it in a physical document that you can always access and check out how you're doing. That's that spread done. So obviously I'll list all of our expenses down this side, put the total amount due each month, and then put the date that is due in there and whether it's done or not. So just a little circle. And then down here, family holiday savings, and I'll colour in each section as I go. So when we save for our amount for Jan, colour that in and write the amount, and then so on and so forth. And now I'm on to my January setup. So I've done setup for the preparations for the year. So I'll just give you a flashback of that. So we've got the 2020 vision, as that's my theme. We've got the key, New Year's resolutions I'm going to put in here. I've got the nice quote for the year. I've got the cleaning calendar, the expenses, and the savings. So now onto the January setup. Okay, so for 2020, I'm going to theme all of my months in the bullet journal based on the letter of the month, and I'm going to choose a place in the world. So obviously J for January, I've chosen Japan. So we're going to do some cherry blossoms over Mount Fuji here. I'm still trying to keep some geometric shapes throughout, but other than that, I'm just letting myself be free and get creative with the particular place that I've chosen. For the other months, I might put out a poll. Like in this video, I'll see which ones might maybe highly requested for February. Obviously it's got to be a place starting with F, so I'm thinking perhaps France, or perhaps I'm having a mental blank. We'll see what I come up. I'll write it down below. Having a mental blank, all I can think of is France. Hopefully there's another one that I can think of by the time I post this. Anywho, let's get on with it. I'm going to start with pen, and then because I don't want to use watercolour anymore because the pages aren't handling it, I'm going to do the coloured pencil where I need it. Then I might just test some acrylic paint for the petals of the cherry blossoms because I think that might look nice. Alrighty, well, let's get on with it. Okay, so now that I've done the diamond outline in the black, I'm going to put in some branches of the cherry blossoms that come over the top of that frame. So I'm going to use different forms of shading on this to make it look a bit more graphic. I'm going to use lines to shade the darkest parts, so these trees down the front, and I'll use stippling or dots, just lots of clusters of dots to get a little bit more depth. And this is the reflection in the water. So I'm just going to do lots of dots in this next level. And near the base, I'll try and cluster them closer together. And then we'll do some cross-hatching in the distance. Now, before I continue with the paint, I'm going to actually cut this down here. I believe they call this a Dutch door, so that it reveals the page beneath it. add something really cool to your bullet journal and decorative. Looks like I'm testing my vision. Larger to smaller, try and get them the same size next time. Note to self. Okay, so that's the paint dried now. I've done some acrylic paint dots just with some cotton tips or Q-tips, wherever you're from. And so now if I turn over, I've got the January calendar set up in the middle here with a minor one down the bottom. Now I'm going to fill this in using some Japanese style font, a little red circle. Should look quite cute. Okay, so that's our mini calendar done. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I think that looks very Japanese, so that's pretty cool. Alright, next page. So this page is my to-do list. That's going to go over the noodles. Let's move that back. So I've themed this page with some ramen running around the edges. This page is where I write all my lists to do that month, whether they're for the house or just for work or kids or whatever. I try and write it down here so that I'm not flying post-its all around the place. Alright, so that's my to-do list. Now for the goodliness tracker. This is where I track all my habits throughout the month that I tend to forget, like drinking water, watering plants, flossing, those essential tasks that often get left behind because we're so busy. This month I'm mapping it out differently to the last couple of months. If you haven't seen my previous bullet journal videos, I'll link them down in the description box. But yeah, this is a different setup, so I'm hoping it will work well, but time will tell. Okay, so that's that spread done. Got the to-do list, got the goodliness tracker. Now onto, this is my YouTube planning and ideas and requests pages, and I thought we have to have a geisha in a Japanese themed bullet journal. So I'm going to sketch out, well I've already sketched out a little geisha, and I'm just going to go over her with liner. I think I'll make it pretty simple in colours, just black and white, maybe some red. So it turns out I've decided to use pink instead of red. It's getting a bit over the red actually, after using it in the Christmas one so much. Now I've never actually been to Japan, but I am really wanting to go. It was going to be our next family holiday, but I decided because my daughter's still very young, it might be extremely painful traveling with a 2.5-year-old. So we're going to hold off a little bit longer, but I'm desperate to get to Japan. Loving the pink so much, I think I have to add it in to the kimono. So this section here is where I'm going to track my YouTube growth, or just for my own personal tracking, just so that I can keep on top of how much I've grown in the month. If you haven't subscribed already, this could be a nice opportunity for you to hit that button if you are enjoying my content, of course. If you're not enjoying my content, please help me out by commenting on what you'd like to see to make it more enjoyable for you. So anyway, this is where I track that growth, and it's nice to look back at over the year. Okay, so there's her umbrella. Now I can add in the titles. So on this page is where the monthly videos that I'm going to do in that month. So the 4 or 5 videos in the planner section. And then over on this page is where I write my ideas that I think of during the month of future videos, or requests that I get from you guys and what to do in a future video. Well, that is a very pink spread. I liked the pink at first. We'll see if I still like it at the end of the month. Okay, so then the next page and the final page of this setup is my week 1 plan. So in here, or week 1 calendar maybe I should say. So on this one, this is where I fill in all the things that I'm doing in the week. So any commitments I have, or special occasions, or things I need to remember. I like to have a big notes section, so I keep this notes section up the top. Okay, so this is where the notes go. So I'm only going to map out the 1 week in the book. The rest of the pages are blank. So as I go through the month, I'll create a new week for week 2, etc. If you're interested in seeing those pages throughout, make sure to follow me on Instagram, and I'll post a picture of each spread that I do. And this time I'm adding in some little chopsticks holding a bit of sushi, and I think I'll just keep it quite simple with the colours on this thread because there was a lot going on in the pink page before this. So I think I'll just keep it mainly black and white, maybe with a hint of colour in this sushi bit. Okay, so the date's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this is the weekend. Scared myself for a minute there. Oh, this should be Wednesday. That's okay, we can fix it. Check it out. Here we are. Okay, so it should be Wednesday, because that's when January starts. Thursday, Friday, this is the weekend, and then we got Monday and Tuesday. Okay, and that is the final page ready for me to start fresh in January. So there's a few more days to go until we get to New Year's. So just wanted to wish you all a happy new year. Hope 2020 is awesome for you and that you enjoyed watching me set up my journal for 2020 and the January month. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you aren't a subscriber, please consider subscribing and like this video if you enjoyed it. That is all. Oh, I do like that page now that I'm looking at it again. Cool. All right, well, that's it. I will see you all in my video next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.